Hello, this is Mike at Gamefromscratch, and welcome to This Week in Game Development. This is week 27 for the week ending May the 23rd, 2016. This entire series is about a quick recap of what happened in the prior week in the world of game development, be it news, tool releases, etc. It's actually a day late technically, but it's a long weekend here in Canada. Happy May 24 for my fellow Canadians. So that's why it's coming on a Monday instead of on the Sunday. So let's jump in. Now, once again, all of these links are available on Gamefromscratch. I will link to a single link down below when I am finished. So without further ado, let's start. Now, the first thing that happened the end of last week was libgdx 1.9.3 was released. Now, the biggest part of this release was the solution to the iOS problem. Now, you may recall that RoboVM basically died. Microsoft killed it off. I did a story on it on my channel, so if you already watched that video, you know what's going on here. Well, libgdx fixed that in this release by offering backend support for an open source fork of the old RoboVM code or the Intel multi-OS engine, which is a very similar product. It just happens to be Intel that's running it instead of Xamarin. On top of that, there's a number of changes and fixes and etc. to this release. Nothing earth-shattering, mostly small API changes, etc. But it's nice to see that the iOS situation has been taken care of. Another big release happened this week was Make Human 1.1 was released. I actually did a video on this. It's available on my channel. It's also linked in this link as well. Make Human is a very cool product. It enables you to make humans. It's a character generator, and it will also create the armature or rig for them for you. And there's even a game option for the rig to make yourself a game ready, a rig that doesn't have 100 million bones in it, that's going to be performance friendly. It's a completely free product. It's definitely one of those things you should check out. So that was Make Human 1.1. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about it, check out this video. It will give you a good overview of what Make Human 1.1 is. Another release this week was Unreal Engine 4.12 Preview 4. Again, this is mostly just bug fixes, etc. The big thing in this one is they're adding a preview release, or what are they calling this? I think it's a preview release of VR mode. Now, VR mode is enabling you to use the tools, so basically Unreal Engine Editor, in a VR headset from HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift. So you can navigate your world, place objects, edit entities, etc. in VR. Personally, I don't know if this is yet going to be of any use or is a pure gimmick. In the future, no doubt, this is going to be how we construct 3D worlds. I just don't know about it yet, but it's cool that it's out there. So again, it's just preview, very early release, but if you do have a VR headset and you want to make your games in 3D, this is the first very tentative step down that road. Another VR announcement came out from Google this week. Now, Google had their Google I/O developer conference this week, and there's two announcements from them, this being the first one. And it's kind of a weird, almost non-announcement to be honest, is they've added VR mode to Android N. And basically it's going to allow a few things, number of performance enhancements designed for developers, including single buffer rendering and access to exclusive CPU core for VR apps. Smooth head tracking, etc., and is under 20 milliseconds for motion to photon latency. So there's some performance level stuff down here. So basically VR apps on Android are going to be able to have more of the device. So this is their functionality, and they also released a controller as a reference design. There's a motion tracker. This up here is a touchpad. So we're using, positional controlling. So basically, it'll communicate to your phone. Your phone will be able to figure out its position in three-dimensional space. And this is a little trackpad, plus, of course, two buttons on it. Interesting to see if this takes off. This is a reference device, but then again, the Nexus phone started out as a reference device. So who knows if Google will end up manufacturing these or if this is just a template for OEMs to run with. But this is Google's next step into VR. It's very strange considering they keep making these baby steps like the cardboard and now this. I don't know, but then again, I don't think we really need another player in the VR space. It's starting to get pretty crowded, and I don't really know what Google really would bring, so perhaps this is their best approach to an already cluttered field. So basically, VR support in Android N is going to improve, and I think they're going to end up doing a lot of what Samsung did in-house to have their own VR support. Just build it into Android N itself. Another Google announcement coming out of Google I/O is the release of Android Studio 2.2 Preview. Now, the last release of Android Studio brought us quite a bit. This one, not so much. There's a new layout designer and constraint layout, espresso test recording for faster builds, and faster builds. APK Analyzer, so the Android Deployment Package Analyzer, Layout Inspector, Expanded Android Code Analysis, and IntelliJ, which it's based on 2016.1 compatibility. And then Enhanced Jack Compiler, Java 8 support was improved, expanded C++ support with CMake and NDK build, Firebase support, and enhanced accessibility. So not a world-changing release by any means, but definitely a nice one. So if you're already using Android Studio, be sure to check this out. If you're not, be sure to check out IntelliJ. It's actually got almost all of the same functionality built into it. It's a very cool IDE, and it's actually my weapon of choice. And the final piece of news this week was Side Effects, who was based out of my hometown, so I cheer for them a bit, even though I don't understand their product with any ounce of my soul. Released a new version of Houdini 15.5. Now, Houdini is a digital content creation app along the same lines as Max Maya, Blender, Modo, Cinema 4D, etc. Whereas Houdini's big thing is procedural generation. You do things basically once, and then you can replicate them 100 times, 1,000 times. So you can quickly do things like model objects that are, like say a brick wall or a crowd of people or a flock of birds. This is where it really shines, particle systems, etc. But the workflow, I have never cracked Houdini. I don't understand it personally, but this focus was actually aimed a bit towards game development. So there's some new modeling things in here. There's new crowd functionality, new UV projection mapping, new lighting and rendering functionality, improved UI experiences, etc. Again, and there's a video here if you want to jump in and actually see what's new in this release. It's linked down here below. Now, the truth of the matter is, again, I am not the best salesperson for Houdini. This is a very specialized app. In some ways, the closest analogy I can give you is it sort of is to content creation apps as Lisp is to programming languages. Like some people, they get it and they love it. And the rest of us are a little confused. So basically, that was it. That was This Week in Game Development. I hope you enjoyed it. We do one of these every week, so stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button if you want to keep up to date. I've got a number of tutorials, etc., all on this channel, so there's just your place for game development. See you all later.